Good morning. Hi, I'm Frida, and yeah, today I'm gonna be talking about color fonts. I like to start with a little bit of history because the use of color in fonts is not a new subject. In the Industrial Revolution transformed graphic art with the shift from manual to machine production. That sparked a demand for attention-grabbing advertising, and driving the development of new type styles and printing techniques. Wood type play a crucial role in here, allowing large-scale letters to be used in posters. Those were the primary medium at that time to share news and to advertise products to people. In 1874, William Page published a specimen of chromatic type. Yeah, it's beautiful. I like it. It showcased the commercial potential of chromatic wood type. Uh, what makes this book like super groundbreaking is the use of transparent inks. By layering them, it created additional colors. Like in here, you can see the green and the red, and the darker color, it's not an additional one, it's the combination of the green and the red. This was an innovation back then because it was before half-tone printing. And actually, like the artificial inks were just like invented. So yeah, it has like a lot of things, technologies happening in this book. That was just one example, but actually, like Letter from Archive, they have research visit, and I went there, and I could see like a lot of other examples of other pieces of chromatic type and layering techniques over multiple periods. And the one on the right, that was also one that is super beautiful. It's from Harrills and Sons, and it also has these layering techniques happening. My work primarily centers on commercial color type, but during my research, I discovered that recent findings led by Dr. Elizabeth Savage revealed that color printing with woodcuts dates back to the 15th century in early modern Europe. This technique of layering with different color inks has been in use since then. This is particularly significant as this suggests that the concept of color was something that people began exploring gradually, with corresponding advances in techniques that evolve over time. Yeah, because if you see like the timeline, sometimes you can see that it was like nothing happening and then like boom. But yeah, this kind of research helps to know more about what was happening. To me, it was fascinating to discover all of this history, and it was a chance to appreciate how technology and innovation came together to create such beautiful letter forms. However, all of the years of progress in printing didn't immediately transfer to digital. In this new space, we have to start back from scratch with a black screen and a pixel font. But fast forward to today, to the present, the landscape has transformed once again. And computers and cell phones have become our everyday tools for connecting with each other, making fonts an essential element of our digital age. Yeah, and today I'm talking about color fonts, but I think that many of us are really expert users on them. As we may know, a font is a file that stores letters, and we can store more than letters. We can also store icons and icons with colors. Emoji fonts are a type of color fonts, and we use them every day. We choose a color font to decorate our text, to better express our emotions, add a personal touch to our message, and maybe add a little bit of irony. So the emoji fonts are the most popular use of color fonts. But what exactly is a color font? In summary, it's a type of font that allows adding multiple colors within individual characters. While the technology was developed primarily driven by the need to support color emojis, it has evolved since then. There are several formats of color fonts, but today I'm gonna focus just in this one. And this is because in 2021, it introduced a new version called Color B1. Um, it's actually amazing to be here because, well, this technology was also like developed but these people, and Peter Constable is actually here, which is crazy. Yeah, so he, Rashida, and Dominic Rogers had talked about this because they were the people involved in this technology. So I highly recommend seeing their presentations. And yeah, in summary, Color B1 builds on vector-based graphic as its foundation, but it expands its capabilities by supporting gradients and transparencies. It's also a little bit more lightweight than big images and complex XVGs. And in my opinion, the best part is that it uses the variable font technology too. To explain this a little bit better, I want to share my experience creating my own color font, Cognac Glaze. It's a font designed to streamline the creation of Color B1 fonts while exploring the creative potential of the technology. And now let me show you a little bit about the process. First, I separate my design into layers, the outline and the interior. And at this stage, you can manually apply gradients and transparencies to each shape. But for Cognac Glaze, I use this script called Paint Compiler by Simon Cousins that automate that part. This approach allowed me to separate the process into, on one side, I have the design file, and on the other side holds the script of colors and opacities. And at the end, Paint Compiler take all the instructions and apply the gradients to each shape and layer accordingly. This separation simplify the workflow, making it cleaner and more efficient. By dividing the process, you can focus on one individual step or handle both simultaneously. It is allowed easy testing, adjustment, and iterations. But what about transparency? This is one of the graphic features of the format. And if you combine that with the variable font technology, we can move beyond static designs to embrace something more dynamic. Adjusting the sliders let you interactively control the transparency of colors as you move between the weights and the widths of the axis, encouraging an experimental hands-on approach to design. The lines that are there are representing the colors that are having like the transparency differences. You can fade in and out as you move. I designed a typeface to maintain full intensity on the outline and the center of the interior to make it readable, and to be clearly visible across all weights and widths. And lighter weights are more delicate, so I will focus on maintaining full color there and gradually decreasing opacity as the weight became heavier. With transparencies, the background colors is part of your design. Although this was one of the goals, it proved challenging to ensure readability across all possible backgrounds. So yeah, during testing, but yeah, the solution was to introduce a new palette designed for dark and light modes. Like that. The light mode version is a default color, and the dark mode can be easily accessed through CSS with just that line of code. I also felt this was important to complement the font with icons to explore the creative potential of gradient layer illustrations. Yeah, so in here, even it says like width and weight. I try to play with something more than the actual, like narrowing of the icon, and it changed the shapes. And this is the final font. Yeah, during college, I designed Calnia, the black and white version, as an homage to the Victorian era. The period I fell in love with that period when I saw like all my history books and I saw these fat faces appear. Yeah, I really like it. So now, years later, I find myself revisiting that same time period, but now with the history, fall in love with the history of chromatic type and the evolution of color. Calneo Glaze, this new version, builds upon the foundation, capturing the essence of the period, the Victorian era period, um, from its unique lighting and volumes of Victorian sash windows. And Calneo Glaze is now available in Google Fonts. You can download it and play with it. You can also go to the mini site to see the graphics that, well, some of the graphics that I show here, but like working in the web browser live. Um, so where's everything now? Currently, the Color V1 font support stands at 79.84% with full compatibility in Chrome, Firefox, and Edge. And for context, variable fonts have 97 support, but it took them some times to be in that place. Um, for color fonts to follow a similar path, they need the strong community support. They must be embraced, used, and they need people constantly innovate for the format. And to this day, some designers have already been exploring and creating color fonts. Here are some examples that I really like. The first one is Nabla, the isometric font by Arthur Rainer Fulmer and Jos van Rossum. It was one of the first, and with this design, it really challenged the technology. Um, Rem Kufi Ink by Khaled Hosni and Santiago Orozco. I think that's a stunning digital representation of ink effects in calligraphy. And Bungie Spice by David Jonathan Ross. He and his fonts has been influential in early exploration and development of color fonts in general. So yeah, I wanted to include him in here. And Folded by Sophia Tai is also an early exploration, contributing to the development and support of Color V1 fonts. And there's also tools, people making tools for them. It's just not making the typefaces, but also tools. This one is by David Jonathan Ross. You can just, he created this site when you can just put whatever color font you want, and you can change the individual color in a very visual way. And there's also a random button that is very fun to see what it come up with. Yeah. And this is new. Lawrence Penny is developing a Figma plugin. Um, and this is important because color fonts, until this, you can only use them in web. So in here, color fonts are not longer limited to that. And you can use it directly in the Figma software. And of course, Paint Compiler by Simon Cozen, that is the script that I use. It can help you a lot to simplify and streamline the process. But why should we make color fonts? I think that today we are in a very similar situation as when chromatic commercial type appeared. Social platforms like Instagram, TikTok, and brands in general are constantly wanting to grab our attentions with using design. So in today's dynamic landscape, where movement and color are everywhere, variable color fonts offer a new possibility of typographic expression. Also, color font, it's not just adding color to a letter. It's not like open Word and put in whatever text in red. A color font is adding expression, personality, and character by design. As for me personally, I think it's exciting to be around when things are happening, to hear the first questions, to be part of discussion and see solution evolving to smooth experiences. That's why I like to be involved into things related, and I think this is like a chance to build something new, which is really exciting. While working on this project, I came to see how technological progress resemble old printing techniques. It made me realize that despite the passing years, the challenges remain similar, and how design often unfolds in cyclical patterns. I want to share this quote by Dr. Elizabeth Savage: "Print heritage is not black and white, it only seems to be." This quote really resonated with me because I believe this is also true for typography. The need for self-expression repeats over time in many cultures, with color consistently playing a role in communication, from the handwritten letters and antique illuminated manuscripts to the vibrant designs made possible by advanced printing techniques. In how Arabic script, they use red sometimes for diacritical marks to enhance clarity, and Chinese calligraphy often features red or gold to signify importance and beauty. The rich historical tradition of using colors in letters continue to evolve, finding new forms of expression in modern mediums and highlighting its timeless and universal importance. Researching this topic had inspired me to ask more questions and explore more ideas of people that came before us. I hope you find this topic as fascinating as I do. Thank you for listening.